Welcome to Lake Lanier, a picturesque body of water nestled in the heart of Georgia, USA. But behind its serene facade lies a dark and mysterious history. Shrouded in tales of tragedy and ghostly encounters, join us as we delve into the chilling legends that have earned Lake Lanier its reputation as one of the most haunted bodies of water in America. Hello to all my fellow creepy little weirdos. My name is Christina, and I will be your tour guide through the realms of the unexplained, the paranormal, and the just plain weird. Welcome to Horror, History, and Hauntings. Our journey begins with the haunted legend of the Lady of the Lake. 2 years after the Jerry D. Jackson Bridge had opened in 1958, two wild friends, Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts, were last seen heading for the Three Gables Roadhouse at a high rate of speed. They had just peeled out of a gas station without paying. I imagine that they were cruising with the windows down, letting the wind whip through their hair, the headlights of Susie's 1954 Ford lighting their way, laughing and talking about what they had just done, and listening to some loud music on the radio. Neither realizing that they were headed for their own deaths and that they would never see home again. No one knew what happened to the girls until a local fisherman would spot the decomposing body of Delia floating under the bridge 18 months later. At first, they were unable to determine the identity of the woman due to the body being in the water for so long and the fact that both her hands were missing. Many people speculated that the body was Delia, but they were unable to confirm the identity of the body at that time. Susie's body would stay undiscovered for another 34 years until fate intervened. After years of travelers crossing over Lake Lanier via the Jerry D. Jackson's Bridge, it was in need of repair, and that was when they found what was left of the twisted remains of the 1954 Ford. Susie's skeletal remains were discovered inside the cab, and using dental records, they were able to finally identify Susie and then also Delia. It is still a mystery as to what caused the car to run off the bridge that night, and maybe that is part of the reason why the haunting remains. People often describe the ghost as a young girl in a blue dress, which is exactly what Delia was wearing the night she disappeared. The ghost also shows up with no hands. Seems to be wandering back and forth along the back roads of the area and across the bridge itself. She seems lost and looking for something. Is it her friend Susie she's looking for, or just the memory of what happened to her that night? Could it be that her restless spirit still searches for peace, her soul trapped forever in the depths of Lake Lanier? But Delia is not the only specter said to haunt these waters. Legend has it that the Lantern Man, a shadowy, mysterious figure, is said to roam the surface of Lake Lanier. He is seen much like you would imagine the ferryman on the river Styx, guiding lost souls to their final resting place. He is seen on the raft, seemingly powered by a man using a long pole to push the boat slowly across the surface of the water, and on his shoulder rests a long pole with an old lantern swaying back and forth on it. Some people believe he is a benevolent spirit, offering solace to those who are trapped between worlds, while others fear his presence as an omen of impending doom. He sometimes jumps off the raft into the water towards onlookers, his head never rising again to surface, and when they look back to where the raft was, they only see the calm waters of the lake, where the raft was only moments before. People not only believe that Lake Lanier is haunted, but also that it is cursed. It is a known fact that a shocking amount of people die each year in and around its waters. More than 200 people have died in Lake Lanier between the years of 1994 and 2024, according to USA Today. Most of the deaths are caused by drowning. Some speculate that there have been over 600 deaths since the 1950s, but unlike a typical drowning, where you see the person fighting to get air and bobbing in and out of the water's surface in an attempt to fight for life, the witnesses of the drowning in Lake Lanier experienced something very different. The drowned people just simply disappear under the murky depths, never to be seen alive again. If someone is lucky enough to survive, They have haunting tales about seeing things under the water and feeling hands on them pulling them down towards the bottom of the lake. The curse is attributed to a couple of things. First, there were small towns that once thrived in the area that is now underwater when they created Lake Lanier by damming the Chattahoochee River. There are still concrete structures, a complete racetrack, large groves of trees that are over 60 feet tall, and even cemeteries left under the lake's murky depths. The most notable being a town formed in the late 1800s Reconstruction era called Oscarville. Oscarville was a thriving Black community with all kinds of tradesmen with their own businesses and its own schools and churches and everything. It also had a booming farming trade. That was until 1912, when a young 19-year-old white girl by the name of May Crow was found in the woods near Oscarville unconscious and presumably had been sexually assaulted. After they had found her, they took her to the nearby hospital where she ultimately died, never regaining consciousness, so she was never able to name her attacker or attackers. Unfortunately, at that time, it was common when a white girl was attacked like that, they automatically blamed the Black members of the community. Mobs formed, calling themselves the Night Riders. The Night Riders began terrorizing the Black members of the community by setting fires and firebombing the churches that people had gathered in, seeking protection from the violence. Many residents trying to flee to Gainesville died at the hands of the Night Riders. They forced all of the Black community out, seizing everything that was left behind. Today, the ruins of Oscarville serve as a haunting reminder of racism and the violence of our past. A submerged ghost town, frozen in time beneath the tranquil waters of Lake Lanier. There is a lot more to the story, but due to length, I can't cover it all in this video. But if you want to hear more and the full in-depth story about the tragedies that happened to Oscarville, I can do that. Just let me know in the comments below. Also, in 2007, Lake Lanier suffered a devastating drought that uncovered a Native American burial mound that they named the Summeror Mound Site 9FO16. Nearby, they also found remains of a village and sites associated with the later historic Cherokee people and an early prehistoric scatter site. So obviously the area was considered sacred to the people that were native in that area, and the spirits entombed there would have been angry at being disturbed. So, would you dare swim in Lake Lanier? Are the large number of deaths happening at Lake Lanier caused by a curse? I'll let you decide. No matter what the initial cause might be, the mysteries of Lake Lanier remain as enigmatic as ever, from the ghostly apparitions to the tragic tales of lives lost through its bloody history. This speculated haunted, some say cursed lake continues to captivate and terrify all who dare to explore its dark depths. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like this one about another supposed haunted location. And as always, thank you for watching. Good night and sweet dreams. Bye-bye.